Hello everyone, welcome back. It's time for another weekly update on my high dividend portfolio journey. A weekly high dividend portfolio journey. First elephant in the room, no, I am not margin called. This is just showing an account deficit because my margin interest billed literally today and I used up all the margin that I allowed it to borrow, which is 70% margin usage. As soon as my dividends hit tomorrow on the 10th, that will pay off the margin interest and this account deficit will disappear. And I'll reinvest the rest into satellite positions. So just to be sure, just to clarify, no, I did not do an oopsie. This is not a margin call. This is merely just bad timing in terms of margin interest hitting my account. So let's get that out of the way. Christmas is over, but the market did give us a bit of a lump of coal with the downturn. Not only during the Christmas question mark rally, it was the opposite. It was a Christmas downturn. We're going into the New Year's with, congratulations, another dip. Quite a reality check, especially for those using margin, me included. But I've got some protection in place and in this for the long haul, so we should be fine. Remember, never over leverage. If you have an account with money that you are not willing to let disappear, I would not use more than 30% of my margin if I were in your position. But since this is money that I'm trying to be aggressive with and I'm willing to lose with a higher risk tolerance, I'm using 70%. So, which even I contemplate is really high. So, but you live and learn. Now, nobody likes seeing their portfolio drop, and it can be a little bit scary. But the key thing about the strategy is dividends. Again, weekly paying dividends, or monthly paying dividends. You're laser focused on them. Short-term price swings like this don't worry me too much. And just to give insight of what it looks like, look at that. Absolutely. And at one point, it did look like it was about to reach back up to those December 18s and December 17s for the first dip. But here we now are further down. I would love to see, I guess it's not going to be willing to show me, but the margin buffer I do have is still over 60%. I think it's still at least $6,000 in margin buffer. So in terms of margin call, we are way clear, completely in the clear. Not even a 30% drop would take us out. It would have to be a 60% drop from where we are now in the economy for me to finally get margin called. And even then, I could just put $1 and be back in. So term price swings don't worry me too much. It's all about that consistent income stream. Even with the dip, dividends are still coming week after week and allows not only to soften the blow, but also decreases the margin utilization, allowing me to put more margin in. If I was able to show you, I would love to, but it's not letting me. Nope, definitely not letting me. But I did increase the amount of margin that I'm utilizing. It is still 70%, but it is 70% of the total amount of money that I put in and the dividends that I've received. Since I've received a decent amount of dividend, the of margin that I'm utilizing can also increase, but the percentage of 70% is still capped to 70%. I'm pretty sure, let's bring out the calculator real quick. It was over 13,500 is the total amount, including the amount that I put in at the initial, which is 12.5 grand ish. And then the amount that I've gotten paid thus far is give or take that. And you have a total of about 13,000 to 13,500. You multiply that by 0.7, which is 70%. And that is the amount of margin that I'm utilizing. I'm using about 9.4 to 9.5K in margin as of this moment. And I'll bring it up in increments of 500, just that way we're not constantly changing the bar over and over again. So it'll take about a month or so for me to update the margin, but I just don't want to micromanage too much, so that's a good thing. Get that out of the way. Let us show you the Excel sheet for all the dividend payouts that we received as of this date, because I talked about it in the previous episode, but I wasn't able to show it. So let's show it real quick. Here you go. So dividend payouts, we got started first payment on December 13th with $33. As you can see, overall, all of the payments coming in. It hasn't been a full month of dividend payouts and we're already $690 in. Very, very cool. You look to your left, you can see the monthly income should be $945. Mind you, is with the ridiculously low distributions of this week for both YMAX and RDTE. So even on the worst type of distributions, we are still about to get $945 in monthly income. I say that's a win. At one point, I saw this monthly number be closer to 1,000 to 1,000 plus. So even in the worst days, being in the 900s, I'm not mad. I'm glad. We're doing good. Yield of 52%, I think is quite absurd, but hopefully it stays like that. Total amount of dividend payouts overall is 690.96. Nice. That wasn't on purpose, I swear to gosh, but it's good number. We'll be here for 1,000 by the end of this month. I sure hope so. If we look into Robinhood real quick, it actually shows me the payments that are coming in now. So if you look to your left here, we can see, if I go to history, here we go. So we have all these coming in tomorrow, recording this as of 9th of January. January 10th, we'll be getting all these different payments. Total amount, I'm not really sure. Bring out the calculator. We are looking at, just do it real quick, 48.83 plus 5.11 plus 59.17, 14.37, 8.72, 2.92, $139. So that should bring us up to 690.96. That should bring us to $830. Very cool. To the 1,000 goal, for the monthly goal, for our first initial goal for this portfolio. We're about to hit it. Very exciting times. Honestly, working even with this market downturn, it actually makes me feel more confident that we were able to do this well during these not so great times, because there will be much greater times coming ahead. We just have to last long enough to actually reach those good times. So even in the worst times, it's still pretty good. And that's all we can ask for. It's more than what we can ask for, to be honest. So very, very good. So that's things. Oh yeah, what I bought. Look, let's further look. So like I said, look here, Robinhood margin interest. That's what got billed literally yesterday. And here's the buys that I happen to have. So the first buy was Coney. Started the position in Coney. Saw that it was paying a discount. So I just thought it had way more benefits than drawbacks. And I'm still relatively bullish in terms of Bitcoin and all that. So I think a shot. Worst comes to worst, lose $150 at the end of the world. Alti, double down again. It was further dipping. Really deep in discount. A lot of heat from many forums that talk about Alti. It's not the best thing in the world, but different channels they're having a difference in management, like a change of managers. They recently had a change of strategy for Alti, so I would be an optimist. Increase the position on that. And lastly, I used the money that I got from the increased amount of margin utilization. You know, we have no in, so now more margin was allocated to me, but we're still utilizing 70%. That gave me an extra $500 to play with. So what did I do? I put it in the Roundhill Fund. The Roundhill has been paying. Roundhill Fund is a recent thing that has paid weekly. It will pay weekly from now on. So it's a new fund, more Bitcoin exposure, not the best thing in the world. And judging from its recent total return, already starting off pretty grim, but hey, we're in this for the long term, so it's fine. Again, small price fluctuations don't matter to me. This one, for sure, I did not buy in discount. I just kind of dipped my net because I like the premise and it's a weekly stock. So I'm not saying it's going to be a core position, but I do want it to be one of the bigger satellite positions, if you know what I mean. It makes up about 2% of my total portfolio. So it is a bigger position than normal. Most positions are probably sitting in between the 1% to 0.5% in total portfolio diversity from these positions. What else I've invested? That should be it. That's what's since the last video. We can go through. There's the roller coaster of seeing my account go really high up, all the way back down. Again, I don't really care for it. I care about the distribution, so that's all that matters. But it would be for an ego perspective and a pride perspective. for it to go back to 13K. But man, as long as it pays it off, what truly matters is this Excel sheet that I'm showing. What it would be nice. Sorry, I had the Excel sheet open so you couldn't see it, but it would be nice here in the 3-month view. We reached all the way up to 13K, and we're back down here. At one point, we had 11K. Now we're at 12K. Beggars can be choosers, and we're in here for income, so that's fine. Perfectly fine. Today, not looking too bad. The week, I mean, is great. In terms of total, like all the positions, down 0.12. Let's see at total return. There we go. Total return wise, wow, Tesla doing absolutely horrible. Tesla doing horrible. Misty's doing Misty things. Nvidia is finally negative. It took a while for Nvidia to be negative. I was positive for the longest time. Moderna is a 10% position. That's cool. Again, it really doesn't what the price fluctuations is because we're just holding it. And lastly, of course, the put protection is still there to help us times of massive, like a black swan. So that way, even if the market drops 50 to 60%, if it drops 50 to 60% in a flash, this put will literally than my total portfolio combined. It's just how the options market would work. So to me, I win both ways. If this works and we slowly grind down and I get my money back and it keeps paying dividends to the future and beyond, I win. If the market crashes and this put is now worth, instead of $58, $58,000, a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. It's more than our account. Then I still win. And now I can start with an even bigger portfolio. And then it would have to go down again 50% for me to lose in that portfolio again. Quote unquote lose, because am I really losing if my put is worth more than my whole portfolio combined? I just have to sell the put? Like, no. So the way the market goes, I really do not care. I just hope for dividends week by week, month by month. And that's what I'm showing to y'all. And thank you for here for as long as you have. Any questions, anything you want me to further show insight to, would be glad to show it. Please check the posts. I update on yields. I update on dividends and what to pay for. I have been asked recently by many people, hey, why don't you give updates on your holding on when they pay, what their declaration date is, what their ex-dividend date is, how much they're paying, all that. I do not want my channel to be for that reason. There are amazing channels that already do that. Just name stuff, one off the top of my head. SoCal Stevo, great channel, gives updates immediately on things like that. Retire on dividends. There's a whole lot of people that already do that type of content. My content is showing you my financial journey. My content is showing you the portfolio journey, how I round about it, how I deal with the ups and downs of the market. Right now, we're just dealing with the downs, but that's what it is. It is what it is. You an account deficit, making you think I've got margin called, when in fact I did not. It is just simply getting billed for my interest, which is only $29. Not too bad. So yeah, that's what it was about. I hope you understand. Please check out those other channels if you want that type of content. They're amazing. Do it fast. They do it quick. I'm more of a weekly update you type of thing. But in the posts, again, I will show which ones I paid for, how much I paid for, and probably not what I do with them, because when I make those posts, I'm just kind of screenshotting exactly what I paid, but I don't do anything with it until I get home. So that'll just be for the next video. So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you for listening for me ramble for so long. Hopefully this gives a little bit of either motivation and or makes you really the risk tolerance you need to have and the mindset that you really need to have in order to make it past this, in order to have a portfolio of high dividend. And the kind of roundabout way, not really generalized for most people. Most people can't think in the same way. It's not a superiority thing. It's more of a just understanding. If you looked at it like this, you would immediately say, I am one of the dumbest people in the world. You are 7% in your portfolio. What are you doing? But you have to change your mindset and realize, hey, it's going to pay itself off. We're in a downturn. This is probably the worst it's going to be. It only gets better from here. And even if it gets worse, guess what? Now you can buy even cheaper. So downturns are actually a good thing. Like, these are just mindset shifts that normal people that just invest in VU are not thinking about. They're not considering. They're not changing them as that. They're just putting on VU and let it go, which is fine. But I don't want to retire at 65. I want to retire at earlier than that. I don't know when, but earlier than 65. So that's all it is. Is in essence, by principle, I guess so. It's for me calculated, and the mistakes that I've made in my previous portfolio has allowed me to gain the experience and also the fortitude mentally to deal with downturns like this, because this is really nothing. This is cake by the ocean, man. It's not. This ain't anything crazy. I'm not sweating over this. It really isn't. And again, this is with the portfolio where if it's zero, which it theoretically cannot, if it goes to zero, there's other income sources. But I still want to show the journey nonetheless. Again, besides my rambling, thank you so much for watching. I will update y'all next week on what I will be doing with the account in terms of buys, because there is no sell, and the dividends, and what we will reinvest in. So I'll see y'all then.